All right, lightening it up a bit in Thou Shall Not Pass Week, You Shall Not Pass Week. I've had enough, and I'm speaking my mind, because then I can go away for a week, work on Lady Bits, and everybody calm down. First, help support this channel. Become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K. Helps a lot. I'm going to be much less invested, personally invested in this one, but no less possibly controversial, because I saw Deadpool 2 over the weekend, and it was really funny. And I was like, oh wow, what a multiracial cast with lesbian characters. And, you know, Deadpool has sort of this homoerotic thing going on with Colossus because he's Deadpool, and it kind of works because he's not the biggest, baddest guy in any fight. And I was like, what a wonderfully inclusive, goofy superhero movie that didn't have to be this way, but chose to be just because the people who made it are good dudes. And that wasn't my main thought about the movie. My main thought about the movie is it was really funny, and I thought they had a larger challenge with it because they packed everything they possibly could into making the first Deadpool movie good, because they didn't know they'd get another one. But now they're like sort of, okay, we did all the big moments. Now what do we do? And I thought they did an overall good job with it. So I went in there for a laugh. I got some laughs. I'm happy. But I was also happy to see, you know, Domino, who's a really cool, dynamic superhero who happens to be a woman of color. I liked the way that they didn't just give Negasonic Teenage Warhead an Asian girlfriend. They actually made it part of the plot, because Deadpool always did the "Hello Yukio," you know, like it's really cute. And then, you know, they had the brown guy not just be a cab driver. Thanks for the sensitivity points. And, you know, they made sort of the kid, he's a New Zealand kid who looks like he might be part Maori. They had people of color sort of smattered all around the film. It wasn't like white by default casting. And then I see these reviews and commentaries and op-eds about, first of all, outrage that in an early cut of the film he went back and killed baby Hitler. People really care about that? Like, it's not just killing a baby, guys. It's baby Hitler. It's like a philosophical question. Would you go back and kill Hitler as a baby to prevent World War II? Come on. But also, people and known film reviewers, people like A.O. Scott, saying that he has a hard time finding funny a whiny white guy. And it's just another coffin nail in the dysfunctional wreck that is intersectionality in practice versus intersectionality in theory. Because Deadpool's not just a white guy, he's disabled. And are you seriously trying to tell me, because this actually affects real people, that a guy who's got burns over most of his body, and when his superpower isn't working, his cancer comes back? You're actually telling me that his sadness over that and the loss of the love of his life, he's whiny about that? Are you seriously telling me that the people coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan with those very similar burns are whiny about their conditions because they have struggles the rest of us can't understand? Are you seriously going there? I don't get it. I don't get why people enjoy not enjoying things so much that they end up looking like flaming assholes that way. Can't you just go and enjoy a movie and go, oh, they tried? Because what I got from that movie is I went, oh, cool. They were never going to make a Domino movie right out of the hopper. Because unless you're a nerd like me, you don't know who Domino is. I actually had a friend ask me if Cable was Thanos' son. And I was like, Cable is Scott Summers' son from the future. oh, but it's played by the same guy. And I'm like, oh, right, they're both Josh Brolin. I could see why somebody would be curious about that. But, most people don't know who these characters are because they use deliberately obscure X-Men too. Not Colossus. A lot of people know Colossus. But, the X-Force, which I used to read that comic, my hope for the Deadpool 3 X-Force movie is that they include Dupe, who's this green alien who looks a bit like a jelly bean. I love Dupe, and he'd work so good in a Deadpool movie. He'd be like the Groot, only Deadpool style. So I'm pulling for Dupe in X-Force. But the fact that they used X-Force and they introduced these other characters allows those other characters to now go on and have lives in the cinematic universe on their own that they wouldn't be able to carry a standalone film out of the hopper, but now people can see them and identify them and go, oh, there's somebody that looks like me on the big screen. And in ensemble films, everybody has only a tiny bit of screen time anyway. You don't have that many lines, so really, who cares? And I think what they actually did was a good thing. And people are falling all over themselves to show their left-wing bona fides by just finding how it didn't go far enough. This completely dismisses the financial realities of Hollywood, that we need more time for the Black Panther effect to seep through the bloodstream of Hollywood, because, guys, as somebody who has been there, Hollywood still doesn't believe that people of color will be accepted by not only white America, but overseas audiences who are still very racist against black people. And Deadpool is a perfect movie for that because, it's a rated R movie, so they're not going to get shown in some of those more culturally oppressed places. But yeah, Deadpool was well into production before Black Panther hit. And going forward, I hope to see more prominent roles for people of color. But the truth is, in the superhero genre, there ain't that many. There's been a complaint in comics for a really long time that it's very, very hard to get non-white superheroes launched, because it's hard to launch new comics, period. You have to. Wolverine was introduced, I think, in an issue of the Hulk. Or was it the other way around? I don't remember. But a lot of the characters that have their own franchises now were introduced in other people's books. Black Panther didn't start in his own comic. He was in another book as well. I'm trying to think. Robin has his own book right now, but he was Batman's sidekick. So was Nightwing. It makes more sense to introduce these characters in popular books and then spin them off in the same way with movies. Look at how when they replaced Tobey Maguire with Andrew Garfield and did a standalone movie, they didn't do so well because people didn't accept the change. But then they did Tom Holland, and his first appearance was in Civil War, and everybody loved him. And so Spider-Man Homecoming did well because there was already an established audience for him. And it was the same thing with Black Panther. He didn't start in his own movie. He was in, what was it, an Avengers film? We didn't see him for the first time, so people knew who he was. They found him cool. And so even if you knew nothing about the character, don't care about social justice at all, you went to see it because, hey, he was in the Avengers. And that's how it works. And if you're not going to give them any credit for taking that first step, they can't get to step 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 because you didn't give them any credit for the first one, so there's no benefit for them. And for God's sakes, you're criticizing a movie who spent a 5-minute scene on shirt cocking. What are you on? How do you even think about that in a movie that absurd? I don't get it. So, Speaking My Mind week is now officially over. I don't know if I'm even going to bother with a Feedback Friday this week, because this is just getting things off my chest, and either I had to talk about it and get it over with, or say nothing ever about the subject. I was tired of towing in and then backing off and then towing in and backing off because the online whores were going, rah! So the important thing for me was just to say it. Not that anybody necessarily agrees. Because you know what? Agreement, disagreement, it doesn't make you right or wrong. It just means people have a different perspective. Patrons are going to get the God of War review tomorrow. So if you're interested in that, become a Patreon. Patreon.com, Leanna K. That's where I'll stop. I'm really tired now. That was a lot of You Shall Not Passing. I think I'm going to pass out now.